For several years, when I started to play music, it felt like not a chore, but there was some pain there. There was some insecurity and fear that I wouldn't play well. And this really takes a lot of the fun out of it. How to stop overthinking at the piano. If you're a piano player, musician, really of any kind, you might have experienced overthinking. I know I did. I struggled with overthinking and still do actually, but I struggled a lot in my 20s and very recently, up until very recently, struggled with overthinking and overanalyzing everything I played. And it got to be a problem to where every time I sat down at the piano, I would analyze and think about everything to the detriment of my performance. And I believe this is a common problem. Overthinking is a common problem for a lot of people, and specifically for piano players. And so this video is going to be mostly for piano players, but it really is for you if you're any kind of musician or creative person. Or if you just want more peace and effortlessness in your life, and maybe this video can help you as well. Now, to be honest, I wasn't going to make a video because I've been on a retreat, which I thought was a silent retreat, out here near Tayrona National Park, near La Costa de Colombia. But this is such a beautiful place, as you can see, and I wanted to make a video to share some insights that I've had over the years about this particular topic. So, as I've already shared, I used to struggle with overthinking quite a lot, and it got to the point where it actually manifested in symptoms that resembled OCD, and of course, anxiety, just feeling very insecure. I had been reading about Buddhism and Hinduism and other Eastern modalities and meditating casually for years. But things didn't really start to shift in a big way until I realized that overthinking was my problem, maybe even my biggest problem, because it didn't just apply to piano or music, but it really applied to so many areas of my life. And I was finding that I was overthinking almost everything. So what changed is I started to have awareness. And when awareness came up for me that I was overthinking, that was the beginning of the solution, because, well, I was aware that I was overthinking, and I was aware that this was the problem. And then almost as soon as the awareness happened, that's when my mind started to quiet down. And I started to kind of just listen to the sounds around me, or listen to the silence. And it was almost as though the awareness itself was the vehicle or the curative thing that allowed me to my mind to start to quiet down. Then around this time, which was, I don't know, very recently, I made the decision to come out to Colombia, to this beautiful place, to do a retreat where we have been doing, this is what we've been doing this past week, is practicing meditation, yoga, and pranayama, which is a breathing technique, alternating nostril breathing. And I'm going to get into these techniques. And there's various techniques you can use to bring mindfulness into your life and to help to quiet your mind, if you're a musician, if you're a piano player. And so I guess I'll get into some of these techniques now. But I do want to make clear that it's not just one technique necessarily that will allow you to quiet your mind and to have more peace, have more effortlessness. Really, it's going to be a combination of things, and it's going to be a continued practice over time. But I'm going to give two practical solutions that are really kind of the yin and yang of each other. So the first practical solution is a sort of exercise or meditation at the piano. And I got this from Kenny Werner, who wrote the book Effortless Mastery, and he outlines this exercise in his book. I highly recommend the book. This changed my playing, and it changed my life. And it's very simple. And all you do is you sit at the piano and you just lift up your hands to the keys, and you imagine that someone or something is lifting each finger and then dropping the finger down onto the key. And you want to imagine as much as you can that you are not involved in this action, that someone or something is doing it for you. And this practice really only needs to take 5 minutes. But it's extremely important that you don't leave what Kenny calls the space, which is kind of this place of no thought, right? Peacefulness, which is exactly where we want to get to. Because really, it's only from this place of tranquility where we can play our best, perform our best, create, express ourselves fully, and really, all arts and music aside, just live our best lives. So that exercise, I had done it in the past very inconsistently, but then recently I started to actually do it every day. And I noticed the effects pretty instantly. It was very dramatic. When I was at a jam session, or on a gig, I would play better, and I would just trust that whatever I had practiced would come out. And that took away a lot of the drama of hoping that I would play well, which was a big problem I had. I hope every time I sat down at the piano, I really hope I play well. And so this really helped, among other exercises which he outlines in the book. This really helped to take all that away and just trust that if I just kind of relax into the space, then whatever I practice will come out, and I don't need to force anything. So I invite you to try this exercise, this meditation at the piano, and you might notice that your mind starts to quiet down and your relationship with the piano gets better. Because I wanted to say one thing about this, that as piano players, the piano is such an intimidating instrument because it has so much breadth and depth and all these colors and ranges, and it can be really, really intimidating to approach the piano, to be able to make music in the moment. I believe this is a problem that many piano players share and face. So this exercise really helps to start to take that away and to realize that whatever sound we make, whatever chord we play, whatever note we play, because the exercise consists of playing random notes without judgment, is beautiful. So then you can take this meditation, if you will, this exercise at the piano, and the peace that you have obtained from that, you can actually take that into your life and experiment with taking that into your life. So that's one side of it. And the other side is cultivating and integrating a mindfulness practice in your life. And this can look like yoga, meditation. There are many, many methods, obviously. I won't go into them all. Pranayama, nostril breathing, going to a temple or an ashram or a synagogue, or yes, going to church, even going to church, and going somewhere by yourself, traveling by yourself, going to a beautiful location such as this. Some people do ice baths, some people mountain climb, and of course, now we're getting into territories of hobbies or things that people are passionate about. That in itself can be a form of creating an environment where the mind becomes more quiet. But I'm really talking actually now about a discipline or a practice that you might incorporate into your daily life. And the key here is to be consistent with it, to do it about 10 to 15 minutes a day at least. But really the main thing is consistency, and to treat it just as you would treat your craft or your hobby or whatever area of your life that you already treat with seriousness, with discipline, with consistency. And then you will realize, you will start to see over time how that is making an impact on your mind, the quietude of your mind, the inner quiet, and the silence that is required to have these insecurities go away and to allow your overthinking to subside. But it's very important to also remember that it does take time, and it's not something that will necessarily happen overnight, and that it is a practice. So most people will need to do some sort of a practice. Hola. Most people will need to do some sort of meditation practice or some sort of spiritual practice or discipline pretty much every day for a number of months or even years. But it may not take that long. So it might only take a few weeks or a couple of months. So once you do start to feel the benefits of the practice that you've been doing, then you can take that into your instrument. You can take that peace, that ease, that mindfulness, that effortlessness, inspiration, freedom, and peace into your instrument, into your time at the piano. What I found from both doing the 5-finger scale exercise that Kenny Werner outlines in his book, and also doing a meditation practice daily, which I also combine with stretching, and also, of course, this retreat. But this retreat is a once-a-year thing. It's not like most of us don't have the means to go on a full-on retreat or to live in a monastery or live at a retreat like this. But for me, this was a part of my spiritual journey. But what I realized, or what I have already started to experience, is music is fun again. I have so much more fun playing music than I did for many years. Actually, for several years, it felt like not a chore, but there was some pain there. There was some insecurity and fear that I wouldn't play well. And this really takes a lot of the fun out of it. But what I was able to recover from my spiritual, from meditation and the lifting and dropping of the fingers 5 minutes a day on the piano, from that, I was able to sort of let go, as I've explained before, and start to have fun again at the piano and playing with other musicians. This is a big insight that I've had over the years, is that overthinking was really my biggest problem. Now, I'm not saying it's your biggest problem, but it is a big problem for a lot of people. And many people are sort of confused, or they may not even be aware that it is a big problem, that is maybe the central problem, the biggest problem. But again, it starts with awareness. Have a practice at the piano or at your instrument, but then also to have a practice in life, such as meditation or yoga or some sort of spiritual practice. And those two practices can complement and reinforce each other. This has definitely been working for me. I've noticed positive results, and I've noticed tangible results. And whenever I'm playing a gig and I sort of let go and let go of expectations and start to play and have fun and just drop into the space, people respond positively. And there's a sense that music is fun, that we're kind of surfing a wave. And some people can get there more naturally than others. But what I found is this combination of having the practice at the instrument, but also having the practice in your daily life. So now, if you're a musician, piano player, I really hope that this video has concepts that can help you, that can allow you to experience more peace, clarity, and stop overthinking so much, both at the piano and in your life. And it's also my hope that even if you're not a piano player, that these concepts can help you on your journey. And even if you're not a musician, maybe you're an artist, maybe you don't even consider yourself an artist or creative, maybe this video can still help you overcome a lot of overthinking and busyness in the mind that you realize maybe has been getting in your way of enjoying life and living in a state of sort of freedom from the attachment of wanting to be a certain way or wanting to appear a certain way, or a lot of times we have attachment to wanting to experience a certain way. And it's very liberating to be able to let all of that go, but it really starts with a practice. So it's my hope that in some small way, this video can help you achieve that. So I'm going to get ready for the noon meditation class, and I'm super excited to be sharing this. I also want to say that I do not take credit for anything Kenny Werner has put in his book or anything Kenny Werner has written. But I will say, I just want to acknowledge Mr. Werner for the value that he's brought to my life and to my playing. And I hope that maybe that value can somehow affect you positively as well. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I am offering virtual piano lessons, which if you are interested in a piano lesson, you can always reach out to me. And also I have an online network to which I'm constantly uploading video lessons, which can come as an add-on to the study with me, whether you choose to study with me in person or virtual. But if you're not in Austin, Texas, of course, virtual is an option. So I wanted to throw that out there. But above all, my hope is that, again, what I talked about in this video can help you in some small way to find more effortlessness, ease, peace, and joy in, for piano players playing the piano, for other musicians, whatever instrument it is that you play, for artists, and everyone else. Because I really do believe that peace should be absolutely available to everyone. So thanks for tuning in again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.